Welcome to the podcast where my guests and I talk about anything and everything from sports, relationships, politics, movies to TV shows, current events, and conspiracy theories. No topic is ever off limits, and it's always uncensored. I'm Ben Borges, and this is Man Chatter. I like to curse, man, so if you have kids in the car or if you don't like curse words, this is not the podcast or live chat for you. You can always join something else. I'm sure there's plenty of other kind of music or other kind of things you can listen to. So today I'm going to be talking about Disney Plus, which my cousin Mikey asked me about because he had no idea about, which is weird because where the hell is he living? He's only in Boston. He's not on another planet. So we're going to be talking about Disney Plus, a little bit about millennials because it's been like an ongoing topic this week, which is weird, like at different places I've been at. You could always listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, everywhere podcasts are found. That's where I'm at. So this is a Facebook Live. This is the first time I'm doing it. So we'll see how this goes, man. All right, so Disney Plus. Disney Plus came out. My dog is literally walking in between me and the light. Sweet. All right, so Disney Plus came out on Tuesday. Had a bunch of issues because it got flooded with people streaming and trying to watch all the cartoons they grew up on. Like, yo, like I'm gonna tell you right now, like I stopped after the first time I tried this today. I stopped and got a bowl of Cocoa Pebbles and started watching Gargoyles. I don't remember shit. See, first cuss word, shit about that series. Like I'm watching it from the very beginning, and I'm gonna finish that entire thing. Gargoyles was my shit. It's got Darkwing Duck on there. When I heard the theme song for Darkwing Duck, yo, I got chills, man. I was like, yo, this is my childhood right here. So I started, oh man, let me see. We were living in a small efficiency in Hialeah, right by the movie co. I think they call it the movie co now. Thanks Drax, please. Make yourself a part of this podcast, why don't you? Yeah, there he is, that was his tail. All right. So right by the movie co, I had a little 13-inch Magnavox, and that's where I would watch all my cartoons. The remote was broken, so it was old school. I had to go walk up to the thing and change the channels. So Darkwing Duck, Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, it's all on there. It has all the content that we grew up on, and it's the shit, man. Like, yeah, it has its issues, and there's haters that are, you know, it's gonna be the first week, so we'll see how that goes. So after you get past all your childhood, they have a bunch of original content. They have The Mandalorian on there. They have a couple new series that I'm sure if you have kids, they'll like it. But, you know, for me, I'm 35, about to be 36 here, so I'm just watching the old shit. I'm streaming Darkwing Duck, all the stuff I told you about, Darkwing Duck, Rescue Rangers. So it has all that content. It has all the Marvel movies. It has all the Pixar. So Pixar is known to make you, like, want to cry for some reason. Like, so they have all the movies. They have Coco. They have the Kit Bull short. They have everything. Everything they've ever done is on there. They're going to be putting on Toy Story 4 when it comes out. When their contracts are up with Netflix, all those movies that are on Netflix will jump onto that. Because Disney is everything, man. It's crazy. It's insane. Like I had a doctor that I work with that he actually left his old phone company to get with Verizon or some shit because they have like Disney Plus free for a year. Like, dude, like it's $7 a month. I feel like you could afford it. I feel like that's all right, man. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you don't have to do all that shit right there. What up, Manny? You doing, brother? It's been a long time, man. But yeah, man, Disney Plus, dude. Like, as soon as I get off of this, just go back and watch that and just be a kid again, man. Just go back to a simpler time when I didn't have to pay bills. I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have to be up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to go work. It's just a simpler, easier time, man. Disney Plus is the shit, man. Yes, it has issues. They actually just did an update, which I don't know how good of a sign that is, that they already did an update within the first week, because I'm sure they were having struggle issues with their server. Couple negatives for me, though, I'll be honest. So I could download straight to my phone, which is cool, and it saves on the app. I could say download movies, but it takes a really long time, even outside of my home, because if you know me, I don't have the greatest internet at my house. So I went to like Walmart where I had to do some work yesterday, and I sat there and it took me over an hour to download it, and I had like almost 40 megabytes a second or some shit. It was too slow. And then even after I downloaded it, casting it to my TV will still buffer. So I don't know why that is. It's downloaded. It shouldn't have any issues buffering. So a movie that was an hour and 30 minutes, it took almost 2 hours to watch because it would stop, play, stop, play, stop, play. So that wasn't fun. I wasn't a big fan of that. Let me see. Their original content's kind of short. Like they have The Mandalorian, which I think the first episode was like 42 minutes. Second episode was 28. It's good. It's good play, but I think it's too short. Negative, they have week-to-week drop of episodes, so they're different than Netflix in that way. But it's not really a big deal because my issue with Netflix, if you heard me ranting about that, was that Netflix was always just dropped 10 episodes or an entire season, and then they changed to like certain episodes they would have week-to-week drops, which I'm not like. I just keep the same consistency. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna be week to week, then be week to week. I don't feel it's a big deal with Disney Plus because they have so much more shows, so much more content. Like you could watch Boy Meets World. There's anything and everything you can watch from your childhood. So they have tons of series that you could watch. Like they have Nat Geographic on there. You have a bunch of content that you could watch, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you are expecting for the new content to be all at once, it's not going to happen. So later on next year, when the new Captain America series comes out with the Winter Soldier, that'll be week to week. Anything they do that's specific to the app is going to be week to week. So that's something that takes some getting used to, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's cool. There's no like right way to segue this, so I go right from Disney Plus. Oh, there's Little Man. Hey, Little Man. What's going on, brother? So yeah, so do that. So you got Disney Plus. Pros and cons. Again, just want to go over it. You could download straight to the app, which is cool. It doesn't take up any additional storage, but there's limitations. Like depending on which one you select, like you have over 200 hours. First of all, you're never gonna watch over 200 hours of anything on that, because then you just have no job and just sit at home. Like how the fuck you would just delete? So it has a limit on how much you could store, but it also has limited. I still had issues streaming straight to my TV. Because even with the downloading of the movie, I would still have buffering issues. So I wasn't a fan of that. I'm hoping they figured that out with the new update. Because that wasn't cool. Like if it's already saved on my phone, I shouldn't have any buffering issues. Yes, I have shitty internet again, but you know what I mean? Like there's no excuse for that. All right, so what's next? So Thursday, I was actually doing a podcast that'll never get to air with my boy Jonathan, who was supposed to join me today. For some technical issues, it was just a weird, crazy day. And it was actually during the game when the Steelers were playing the Browns. So Browns won the game, but they lost it in the end. So Myles Garrett, if you didn't watch, hit Mason Rudolph over the head with Mason Rudolph's own helmet. Yes, he should be suspended. His actions were fucked up, no doubt. But I feel Mason Rudolph started that shit. Yo, you got to keep the same energy, son. Like you can't go for his helmet, try to take it off, because you were having a shitty game and he didn't tackle you really hard. He tackled you exactly how a defensive player is supposed to tackle you. He gently set you down over your center mass of your body, and you took exception to that. Then you try to fight him on the ground. He's 6'7", 280 pounds. You're whatever the fuck you are. Like, what are you doing, man? Don't pick a fight. And then you try to go after him when he's being held back. That's a bitch move, son. Like, keep that same energy. Like, if you want to chase after him when you know you don't have your helmet. Like, if I'm in that situation and somebody's coming after me, I'm swinging. There's a good chance Myles Garrett probably didn't even realize he had his own helmet, Mason Rudolph's helmet in his hand. There's people that's going to disagree with me? That's fine. That's my opinion, man. You can leave comments in here. Tell me what you think. If you disagree with me, cool, I'm with it. But he should be suspended probably for the rest of the year, and then you move on. I think Mason Rudolph should have been suspended because he started it. Mark Pouncey obviously got suspended, so he's good. He's gone. But for that excuse, like the overreaction of like, oh, what if it would have been with the crown of the helmet? Yeah, man, what if my aunt had a dick? She'd be my uncle, bro. Like the what if doesn't matter. Like the NFL players, I'm not gonna argue with them. That's you know what I mean. They have more right and more knowledge with all that shit. But it's not like you can't be in a fight and then have limitations to what the fight is gonna ensue. Like if you lost your helmet, and you walk away, you clearly lost that fight. You come after me, I'm gonna swing. Like I'm gonna keep that same energy that you had on the ground, man. There's no excuse for that. Mason Rudolph is a bitch. My boy Brian Keith said it the best, man. That's some bitch ass shit. Like, he started the fight, and then it's Bush League. What's Bush League, bro? The fact that you put your hands inside his helmet, and then he overreacted. The man does MMA. He's gonna whoop your ass in every scenario ever. This isn't the Little Giants. There's no 1 time out of 10. It's not gonna happen, bro. You're gonna lose that fight every time. And quarterbacks are protected enough to begin with. And then you want to be tough when you know you're the bubble boy. That's some bullshit, man. I don't appreciate that shit at all. Obviously, Myles Garrett, suspension. Can't disagree with that. He did hit him with the helmet. Mason Rudolph incited that entire fight. And he's a bitch for all of that. All of it. Because the game's over. He didn't tackle him that hard. He didn't hit him helmet to helmet. He didn't slam him onto the ground for him to react the way he did on the ground. It was some bitch shit. That's just straight up how I feel, man. I don't understand how you could disagree with that at all. Oh, he tackled. No, it's football, bro. You can still tackle. He didn't tackle him crazy. He didn't slam him on the ground. He didn't throw it. He didn't throw him around the field. Nothing. He tackled him. That was it. Play should have been over. Shouldn't have been that big of a deal. Then it became this whole bigger thing. But the arguments of like, oh, but what if Myles Garrett did this? What if Myles Garrett did that? Myles Garrett was being held back by 2 other players while Mason Rudolph tried to snuff him, and he got snuffed back. Keep that same energy, man. That's all I'm saying. Again, I'm probably going to get a lot of shit in the comments from like Steelers fans and all that shit, but your other quarterback is probably a rapist. What are you going to do? Yeah, I said it. Fuck him. Not the Steelers, just that guy. Yeah, Pouncey's a bitch too, man. Trying to kick him when he was down. Like, I'm saying, if you're going to have the same energy, keep that same energy when Myles Garrett is ready to go. Like, being held back and doing all this other shit is crazy. I don't know, man. It just made me mad. Like, this overreaction, like Myles Garrett is like this terrible person. He's got like, let me take it in because it's getting me animated. So Mason Rudolph puts his hands inside his helmet. What if you can't see what he was doing down there? What if he put his hands in his eyes? That's probably why he acted crazy and swung with his helmet. I'm guaranteed that 6'7", 285-pound Myles Garrett didn't realize that he still didn't feel the weight of the helmet in his hand when he swung. He probably just swung with his hand like, oh shit, there's his helmet. Well, take that shit back with you, bitch. Just saying, man. Just saying. Again, explicit content. Don't listen to this with your kids in the car. Don't listen to this at work on loud because I'm going to be cussing some shit. That's just what it is. Mom, I'm sorry. I know you raised me better than this, but this is the language I use on social media. I apologize. All right? All right. Moving on. So I've been listening to audiobooks a lot lately from Audible, right? I started listening to this book called Chaos, the Charles Manson, CIA, and the Secret of the 60s. It is one of the darkest, most insane books I've ever listened to. Like, you know me, man. Just gonna keep it 100. I don't like scary movies. I don't fuck with them. It's not my thing at all whatsoever. Yeah, call me a bitch if you want to. That's fine. But this book is dark and it's real. Like, it's so dark. I'll listen to like 2 hours of, then I have to like listen to like 90s R&B or some shit to like relax my mind. Like, yo, man, it's not that bad. Charles Manson was a sociopath. So what was crazy about that is, if you don't know the story, he never actually killed anybody. He himself allegedly never killed anybody. Even though there's like possibly 33 murders that could be attributed to him and the family. But who knows how that works. But man, I don't know. It's just crazy. So I'm listening to it, and they killed, if you don't know the story, stop listening right now. Spoiler alerts are coming. Even though this happened 50 years ago, I feel like you should know this story just a little bit. So Charles Manson trips out his family, which is a cult, on LSD. He knows exactly the right amount of dosage to give them to like melt their brains, has them doing orgies, pedophilia, just the darkest side of humanity in every way possible. Charles Manson is in and out of prison since the age of 8. He goes to like boys' homes all over the country. It's dark, dark shit. So he has this family, and he tells these 3 women and 1 man. The guy's name's like Tex, and the other 3 men, another 3 women, I can't remember their names, but they're crazy too. They walk into these people's houses on Cielo Drive, and they kill 5 people. All stab wounds, shots, kicking people to the head. At one point, they stabbed Sharon Tate, who was pregnant, in the stomach, stabbed her over 27 times. And one of the parts that stood out to me, one of the women like stuck her fingers in her stab wounds and like licked it because she wanted to know the difference between life and death. Like that's some sick, dark shit. And then the very next night, Charles Manson walks into some other couple's house, walks in, sees everybody there that's sleeping, walks back out. I guess people didn't lock their doors. Like, how are serial killers this prominent, man? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like the 60s and 70s and 50s, probably all through all that time, people were just getting murdered like all the time. It just happened. It wasn't just school shootings. It was just like you're in your home and you had a serial killer in your neighborhood. That's a wrap for you. Like that's crazy to me. So they walk in the next day, kill those people, splatter all these type of crazy stuff all over the walls to incite a race riot and all this other shit. It's just dark, dark shit. Like he had his cult so in love and enthralled with him that he actually in court, which I'll get to how he even got arrested in the first place. In court, like carved an X on his face. Like everybody knows he had a swastika, but he actually carved an X on his forehead that all his followers did the same thing. So his followers were called the family. So it wasn't just the people in prison. It was a pretty decent sized group that they were all outside and they did the same thing. And then he shaved his head. All these men and women shaved their heads. Like he had complete control over all these people because of the dosing of the LSD and just taking away their inhibitions. Like there's stories that this is dark, guys. If you don't want to listen to this, again, don't listen to this with your kids in the car because this shit gets crazy. If you had any inhibitions, yeah, he absolutely still ran his cult. They were still out there. Like here's the thing though, it was 50 years ago. There's people walking around with X's carved into their forehead, Brian. Like that shit is crazy, Eden. Like, dude, it's so insane. Like he had people writing him letters when he was in prison that they were in love with him. Women, men, who Lord knows, man. It's just some crazy shit. So then you have these people that like they tell you the testimony and they're just so disassociated from real life. Like they just talk about it like, man, they just kept fighting. They should have just given up. It just doesn't. It's so yeah. Like I'm 4.5 hours into the book of a 16-hour book, and I got to keep taking breaks because it's fucking dark. Like because it's so detailed and descriptive. Where like now it's getting to the conspiracy theory side of it, I guess. Where how did this guy who's been in and out of prison since the age of 8 know exactly the amount of dosage to give to people to almost mind control them? So I'll keep you guys posted on that. That shit is crazy. I say that a lot because I mean it is, man. Like how like I don't know, like I guess cults are just weird to me. Like I don't like anybody that much that like I'm a kill for. You know what I mean? Like I'll protect and kill. Yeah, my family, my loved ones, 100%. But like this random dude or this random woman I meet tells me so like couple words because I could see you're hurting or some shit, and I'm just gonna follow you, bro. Like I'm never that drinking the Kool-Aid guy. Like it's just never been my thing. Like if you know me and like my boy Ian right here, we serve together. Like I've never been that dude to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Just not gonna happen. Like I've been drunk with these motherfuckers. Like I've never been that, yeah, I'm gonna do it. The crazy shit we did is like drink at 6 a.m. because college football was on. Like that's about as crazy as I get. Yeah, they're crazy. But how many crazy people can there be, yo? And I mean, like you got the Jim Jones shit. You got Nexium. You got Scientology, which is a cult. I just said that, and I'm streaming over probably something that's Scientology. So hey guys, this was a fun podcast. This is probably the last time you ever hear from me because I just said Scientology is a cult because it is. Like it doesn't make sense, man. Like I don't follow any random person that much. Like I don't, because I believe people are full of shit, right? So if I believe people are full of shit, I can't then follow somebody who I don't know, never heard of, said a couple cool words, and I'm just, I'm in. I'm sold. This isn't Herbalife, bro. This is just not gonna do it. I'm sorry. Just not that guy. I question all that shit. And I always will. I always question authority. Probably why I didn't do the greatest while I was in the military, man. Because this is what it is. I don't know, man. I don't know. Crazy shit. By the way, I realized I'm too Florida. This is not even like on the subject shit that has to do with anything. But it's like 55 degrees outside and I don't appreciate it because this is Florida. Like, I like where we can brag that we're like 75 and sunny and the rest of the country is like under ice because it's becoming the North Pole or some shit. Ha ha, Iowa. Fuck them. You know what I mean? But like, it's cold out there, man. Like, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt inside my house in the 68 degrees. Like, I've contemplated turning on the heat. That's not cool for me. First of all, it's too expensive because it's just too much electricity. And also, it's Florida. I shouldn't have to do that. That's not cool for me, man. Let's go ahead and turn it back up, Jesus. Let's turn it back up to about 72, 73, and just leave it there. Let it coast right through. Maybe 2 days it'll be cold. 3, like Christmas I'll take, and Thanksgiving. And maybe the 31st, which I don't do anything anyways because I'm old now. So just let me get those days and I'm good. All right? Don't give me all these extra cold days. I don't have that much cold weather shit. I could only wear the same hoodie and the same joggers and sweatpants once in a while, man. Like, I'm cool. I like wearing shorts, t-shirts, and just relaxing and laughing at the rest of the country because they're under ice. Sorry. It's 54 degrees in Las Vegas. Yeah, see, that's not bad. 54 is nice. But when it drops under that, like when it gets to like the 40s, it's unreasonable. Like, there's no reason why it should be that cold. 40s, 30s. Like, there's parts probably around the country now that like in the doubles, like in the 10s and the 8s. No, fuck all of that. Just unnecessary. Unnecessary for it to be that cold. It's unnecessary for it to be that cold. This I'll take. But tomorrow morning when I gotta be up at like 4 a.m. to get ready for work and head out, it's probably gonna be cold as shit. And I'm not gonna like it. What up, Ant? What's up, brother? Yeah, man. So what's next? This week I've been getting into like a lot of debates with people about millennials, right? Because first of all, it's a made up term, some shit that's just somebody made it up for like marketing reasons and propaganda, like advertising. It's not like a real thing. And like, depending on what website you read, you might be or might not be a millennial. Like, according to Wikipedia, like, a millennial is anybody from 81 to 96. So if you were born in that time and you're complaining about millennials, you're a millennial. So that doesn't really make sense. So you're talking about the generation after you, which then shouldn't you kind of blame yourself because you were the one that raised that generation, but it's their fault? Like, does that make sense? Like, if you were born in, like, I'm a millennial, right? 81, I was born in 84. My brother's a millennial who was born in 94. Same, 10 years apart. We're both millennials. This whole thing that like millennials are lazy. My brother's active duty in the military, about to make his sergeant. I'm a very successful employee, I guess. You know what I mean? I served my time with the military. Everybody I know is successful, done great things in the military. Every millennial I know either served or is successful in their life. So this stigma that millennials have that they're lazy is bullshit. When you talk about, oh, but kids are getting participation trophies. Yeah, those are the kids of millennials because they realize that you didn't have to get your ass beat every day to be good. Like, every generation before complains about the generation after, like they have it so easy. Isn't that the point though? Like, look, I don't have kids, right? I don't have kids. But isn't the point of being a parent to make life easier for the people after you? Or is it to like complain about other people having it easier than you? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, again, millennials just a made up thing, like Gen X, Gen Z, baby boomers, greatest generation, all that stuff. It's all made up shit. Like, the okay boomer stuff is hilarious that's happening now. But yeah, like, I'm hearing millennials, like, dude, like, you don't even know what a millennial is, when a millennial was born. Like, oh, these millennials. Like, what are you talking about, man? You think kids that are 18 that say born in like 2000 and they're going to college, you think they like that they're going to have crippling debt for the rest of their life? And then your only response is like, well, get a different job. Then get a different job that doesn't pay them that much, or have the only other option be the military. Like, there should be more options for the kids coming up, man, because those kids are going to have kids. So are the kids after them going to have less options or more options? Are they going to have crippling debt, or just fucking, I'm going to stay at home and never try because I don't want $200,000 for $200,000 in debt to become a doctor? See what my boy said. Yeah, exactly. It's the upbringing, man. Like, it's not, I don't like anything as a monolith, right? So not everybody's the same. There's millennials that are hardworking. There's millennials that stay at home. Do I know people who still live at home when they're in their late 30s? Yes, because depending on where they live, they can't afford to move outside of their home because it's too expensive. And some people like living, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all situational. It's not one thing in one person, man. It never makes sense to me. It never has made sense to me because it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I pay all my bills on time, but I still play FIFA and watch cartoons. Like, everybody's different, man. Like, no, there's no one thing that says, like, I was talking with this in the at work the other day, and like, oh, millennials are lazy and all that stuff. It's like, how are millennials lazy? 3 of the 4 people in this room are millennials, and the other 2 were complaining that millennials are lazy. Like, do you even know what generation, what days, or what decades millennials are? No, you don't. So what are you talking about, man? Like, again, the thing that bothers me about these conversations, and I know I'm having a conversation with myself. The thing that bothers me about these conversations, like, you have a computer in your pocket right now. You could Google more information and actually have the knowledge to know what the fuck you're talking about. But you're just spewing off a meme because somebody you know what I mean? Like, somebody shared it. You're not actually taking the time to read one article. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I've learned. Like, I'll give you an example. I think it was about a year ago or 2 years ago, when the whole thing happened at the Washington Monument with those kids that were like Trump supporters or whatever. Not to get political, you know what I mean? Like, that were Trump supporters, like, they were laughing in his face, and then it became this whole thing. I overreacted because the guy was like, so allegedly a veteran, whatever. The whole thing came out after the fact. Like, I overreacted. I leapt off the fucking building and I was like, yo, fuck this. This is trash. What the fuck is going on with these kids and all this stuff? Again, those kids aren't millennials though. Those are high school kids, so that's the generation after. You know what I mean? Like, and all the fuck all, and I left off, and then I got checked. I got checked by a couple of people that I served with. I read more into it. Since that moment, I haven't left off a building since. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a second. Except for like R. Kelly, because he's been a pedophile. Fuck that guy. But after that moment, I was like, you know what, man? I'm never doing this shit again. I'm gonna give everything space and time to let it delve out and see what's going on. Like, even like with mass shootings, I always wait. Do I assume that they're a specific kind of person? Yes, I do. But I always wait till I get more information. You know what I mean? Like, in anything, I always wait because I didn't like how that felt. I didn't like making that immediate assumption that these kids were bad, or that, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense. And I've been better about it. Like, if you listen to my podcast, again, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere podcasts are found, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, everywhere, even on YouTube, you know that I'm always open to have the conversation, right? Like, I have people that like my boy Frank, that I have conversations with all the time. Like, when I need more information on a cop shooting, or when I want to know, like, yo, is this a crime or is this a crime? Like, what does this mean versus this? Like, what is resisting arrest and shit like that? Like, I reach out to him, or I reach out to my boy Lewis, who are police officers, like, just because I need more information. I'm not gonna make the assumption like I know everything. That's the first mistake I did, and it slapped me right in the fucking face. And I won't do that shit again. It just doesn't work for me. Like, this is my own shit. Not to say that you have to do it, but just take an extra second, take a breath, and don't make yourself look out to be an idiot like I did. That's my only thing. Was my boy Brian saying, man? Yeah, absolutely. They would always make them seem bad. You know what I mean? Like, that shit was crazy. Like, that one I was like, man, I'm never doing that again. Like, it was just such a weird situation, because I was like, you see this snapshot, right? Which is bullshit, because in any picture, anybody can look bad, right? Like, I could play, like, me and my boy Brian used to play football. We used to play on a team. Like, if I get up and I'm playing against him or whatever in practice, and I make a great catch and I'm screaming in his face, talking shit, if you see that, you'd think we're fighting. You know what I mean? You wouldn't know that, like, right after that, we probably went and grabbed some beers and got drunk as shit and made fun of the dumbest shit possible, and I still mossed them. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't, in a snapshot, anybody can look bad. You always got to look past that and look at the context. You know what I mean? Like, I constantly have to almost like fact check people when they share stupid shit, because it's like, I understand that you're on one side or the other, right? I get that. You're always going to be that way, and some have the ability to be independent and be right in the middle. Congratulations to you. I don't know how you can do it. But when you're right in the middle, like, and you share one side or you share the other, you got to take it past just that picture or just that thing. Like, I fact checked my mom. You know what I mean? Like, hey, mom, this might not be right. Was I scared? Yes. because my mom still hits me. All right, she's very abusive. She hits me with a chancleta, and I run. It just happens. So you know what I mean? Like, just take that extra second and be like, yo, did this person actually say this? Did this actually happen? That's all it is, man. Just get a little bit more information. Don't be afraid to read. I know it's easier to go off a meme or go off of a post or a share. It's very easy. Oh, okay. Because it gets embedded, right? Like, I'll see it like, oh, remember when this thing happened with that? Like, it sits in there. Just take that little extra time and just do a little bit of research, man. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that you have to, just saying that it's something that I do and it's made me feel better, where it doesn't make me look foolish like it did that day with those kids. Because that was fucking ridiculous. Like, were those kids still assholes? Yeah. You know what I mean? Was that guy an asshole with the drum? Yeah. Like, there's assholes in every situation. And sometimes everybody's an asshole. You know what I mean? There's no good or bad assholes, just an asshole. All right, what's next? What'd I say? The Kaep workout. Colin Kaepernick. Been out of the NFL 3 years. I'm not going to talk about the kneeling stuff because that's, you know what I mean? That's been talked about forever. What outlook, man. He's not going to get another chance in the NFL. This was a PR stunt. This was to appease people 3 years later, which is stupid. They could have just not done this. It would have had the same effect. It doesn't make any kind of a difference. He made a couple good passes, but then he changed it. He changed the location the day of. It's going to look bad. So that gives people who already didn't like him something to latch on to. And that's on him. That was a bad call on his part. I'll give him that. But I watched, Jesus Christ. I don't know if my mic picked that up, but my dog just farted. And it smelled so bad. Because it's like, can you see my nose? It smells so bad, yo. Yeah, B, like he lost it right there when he changed that. Like, what I'll say though is the fact that he bet on himself and he lost, right? I'll say this, because what he did was think that he was gonna perform better than he did. Like, the few passes I saw looked okay. I never thought he should be a starter in the NFL. Like, even though I looked up his stats, he had nearly 60% completion percentage, 12,000 yards passing. Only two of his 6 seasons were over 7,000 yards. So the rest of the 4 seasons weren't very good. I thought he could have at least been a backup. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's still better than like a Geno Smith. Like, I think a perfect situation for him would have been Seattle, because there's no question that Russell Wilson's a starter. There's no debate. You know what I mean? Seattle's kind of like a liberal town. They would have been more progressive with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been a perfect situation. Once that didn't happen, I knew it was kind of over. So this isn't like to argue that like, oh, he should be back in the league and all this stuff. That's not what this is. That time is long gone. You know what I mean? Like, Mark Sanchez had his 10, 12 years. Brock Osweiler, whatever. Like, all those players had their time. Him and Tim Tebow had parallels, right? Tim Tebow was an effective quarterback, but the hoopla and stuff and media that came behind it was too much for teams to handle, because NFL teams like to be private. They like to run their business and their monopoly the way they want to, and they don't really like to have a lot of eyes and like to be questioned. So Colin Kaepernick with his whole kneeling thing was similar in that way, because yes, the narrative got changed because he actually talked to a Green Beret and asked what would be the right way, and the Green Beret told him to kneel, yada yada yada. But once he did that, he was under too much media scrutiny, and wherever he went, that media scrutiny would go with those teams, because those were those people who were fervent supporters of him that wanted him to start and just be the greatest thing ever, and there were those who hated him, who thought he was trying to destroy the flag and all this other stuff. That's not, you know what I mean? Once that happens, once a player becomes like, look at a player like Tom Brady, never says anything, never brings anything to the table, is Bill Belichick younger version, you know what I mean? Never makes a stand for anything else. Never rocks the boat, plays it good, and is probably gonna play till he's 50, and will never be allowed to be touched. You know what I mean? Like, he's in a glass bubble. He's in a bubble like everybody else, every other quarterback. But I don't know. It's like him. Even Aaron Rodgers has spoken out a little bit. But once that happened, it was a wrap. Like, it didn't matter what else happened. You know what I mean? Like, once you put up too much media stuff behind it, it's it. Like, because think about it. Like, there's NFL players who have killed people that still got other chances. You had Dante Stallworth, Ray Lewis. I mean, I don't want to shit on him too much because he was a Miami Hurricane, but he probably had something to do with the murder of that guy before they won the Super Bowl. See, I said that real fast, like the end of a commercial. Because if he hears this, I don't want to be next. You know what I mean? Like you have all these situations. You have Ben Roethlisberger back-to-back off seasons who had sexual assault allegations. You had, you know what I mean? You could just go down the line, man. You had Antonio Brown with his issues. You have guy that just played at Cleveland, Josh Gordon, that just went to Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, you have all these guys that have all these infractions that have done way worse things, criminal acts, that still get a chance. But once the media becomes too much of a beast for any one player, it doesn't matter anymore. No team is going to care otherwise. All right, guys. As always, I just want to say this again. Thank you for watching. BKE, you're a G, man. You stayed all the way through, man. I appreciate you. Hopefully my dog doesn't fart again before the end of this video, because literal tears will come out of my eyes. Yeah, man. So as always, you can listen to this podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher Radio. I'm going to try to do this once a week and see what happens. So in recap, Disney Plus, good and bad. You know what I mean? You could download the shit, but it still buffers. But you have your entire childhood on an application, which is crazy. I'm about to go check out episode 2 of season 1 on Gargoyles, because it's first of all, The Awakening, which is the first 5 episodes. It's all one thing. I'm watching the shit out of that. Yes, the quality isn't the great because it's 30 years ago, 25 years ago. But hey, man, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to catch y'all next time, man. Peace. Again, thank you. Thanks for listening to the Man Chatter Podcast with your host, as always, Ben Borges. Till next time, peace.